Ladies and gentlemen, I have finally figured out why gamers are so mad. They've been mad for a long time. Now you may think there's 3, 4, maybe even 5 reasons for this, but no, there's only one, and it's battle royales. In all seriousness, even though battle royales do have a significant role to play here, it's actually a lot deeper than you might think, and it's a little bit deeper than I even thought it would be. The last couple videos that I've released were specifically about battle royales or related genres, one of which being how the new Battlefield could have a battle royale and how it may be executed. Now, I wasn't saying that I believe that Battlefield should have a battle royale or that it needs one, simply that I think that if Battlefield were to execute one properly, it could be a really great addition to the genre, much of which is currently dominated by Warzone, who just released their newest Verdansk iteration, which I will admit is probably one of the better ones they've done in quite some time, Apex Legends, and maybe PUBG. But what was interesting about the comments on these videos after I published it was that it wasn't that the video was bad or that people didn't like the video, the quality of the video. It wasn't even that people didn't like me or the way I sounded or my face. It was that they did not want to talk about or hear someone talk about battle royales. They just didn't want to hear it. In fact, I even had a few people say that the video overall was good and that they enjoyed the content that was provided in the video, but they just had no love or respect or room left in their little gamer hearts for battle royales being a part of the conversation. And so this got me thinking, if the video is good and people like the video, if they like me or at least don't have an inherent problem with me and can listen to me speak and watch me on this video, why are they so upset? What has them lashing out against the idea of what a game mode in a game could be? And that's when it hit me. Just like I've been talking about for a long time now, gamers are just burnt out. They're jaded, they're upset, they've lost hope in their favorite games in an industry they love, and the developers that they once relied upon for entertainment and fun, they just don't have it in them anymore. Thus, when a video like the one that I just released was put out, the overall sentiment comes as, we do not need this, the game sucks, etc., etc. So we find ourselves in an era where there's so much more negative sentiment towards games than there are positive ones, and that really makes making videos about games, being a content creator for games, very difficult. And it's not entirely unfounded because there are plenty of examples of games that have released that have been total flops, misled us all, and underdelivered on the promises that they made. Assassin's Creed Shadows has to be probably the most recent and biggest one of these. Now, I'm not here to tell you not to play the game or how to feel about the game. I haven't played Assassin's Creed Shadows in a long time. I just lost interest in the series as a whole. But a lot of the major game reviewers, you know who I'm talking about, have reviewed the game very well. Meanwhile, a large part of the gaming community seems to think that the game is relatively repetitive and not really that fun to play overall. The world is certainly beautiful, and that seems to be unanimously agreed upon. But here we have it again, where there's a corporate part of the industry that seems to take a bias when doing these kinds of things with games, and then the gamers themselves seem to have a completely different experience of that game that just does not correlate with what other people, other entities rather, are saying. Pair that with games like Warzone, and again, I will give credit where credit is due, it probably deserves its own video, but Warzone's current update with Verdansk is definitely one of the better ones they've released. However, Warzone has more or less been a perpetual beta for a long time. Battlefield 2042's release a few years ago, really painful, really rough, to such a degree that they refunded a lot of the game and even offered it at half off. Gray Zone Warfare, another clunky, framey mess with a 2 to 3 year long roadmap that nobody's buying because 2 to 3 year long roadmaps from any developers, even AAA developers, rarely pan out the way that they're planning. Concord, the $400 million Sony flop. One of the biggest flops in recent gaming history. The list goes on and on and on. Now, this applies to every genre. It especially applies to shooters, which is unfortunate because that's my bread and butter, but it makes sense why gamers are burnt. The shame of it all comes in where having a discussion online about what could change and what needs to change, what we would love to see shift, is met with resentment. One jaded remark after another. And I completely get it. There have been a lot of games that have released over the last few years that suck. We pay money for them. They're an unfinished product half the time. They have no lifeline, updates that provide nothing to the overall quality of game, gender politics, social ideologies that have nothing to do with gaming don't belong in games, and our hopes are crushed again and again. Again, as a shooter player by heart, believe me, I completely understand it. Shooters are a dime a dozen at best these days, but I still want to be able to make videos like the one that I made about Battlefield and be able to have discussions about what we could and what we should expect, what we would want to see change, what we would be happier with. It's easier to write everything off as some sort of corporate AAA agenda, but in some cases, yes, it is. But if we don't do something about it, make our voices heard, and just throw our hands up, then what are we getting? I mean, it's one thing to get something that's crap and be angry about it, but if we haven't even gotten it yet, then we need to be able to at least have the discussion. And so here we are. Not everybody's going to agree with me. Not everybody's going to like my videos or my opinions, and I get it. I totally get it. That's fine. I do this because I enjoy doing it. I create content because I enjoy creating content. Sometimes I create content specifically geared towards things that people want to see, want to hear, are looking for. And then other times I create content because I feel like the most important parts of content creation and contribution to any given industry come from what you feel like needs to be said to be heard and what you hope propels things forward. But unfortunately, at least in the context of this video and gaming, we're in a weird space where it's hard to even have conversations like that sometimes because, again, referencing my other videos, the most recent ones I've published, a lot of the comments are just met with a lot of cynicism. And I'm not necessarily talking about the Rainbow Six Siege X video, for instance, because I do think that that was largely underwhelming. And if you haven't seen that video, check it out. I go over the updates and just kind of give my opinion on it, but mainly the Battlefield and Warzone one, the Battlefield genre as a whole. I get it. People have played it. They think they've seen everything that can be done to it. Not every game needs a battle royale. I get it, but it's the conversation. And when I'm talking about an IP like Battlefield that's massive, that we have not had in years since we've seen the last Battlefield, and it was a Battlefield that most people genuinely weren't very happy with. They put a lot of time and effort into it at the end, but man, I mean, Battlefield has always been a banger, man. Always. And I'm just saying that whether or not Battlefield or games that have the staying power, the weight behind them, if they have a battle royale or not, that's fine. The multiplayer and the campaign have always been fantastic. If we could see that and it was able to enter into the marketplace and to provide some competition for games like Call of Duty Warzone, Apex, PUBG, then we might level up a little. But we have to be able to have the conversations, and I've said it a million times, execution is all that matters. I don't want to see update videos. I don't want to see notes. I don't want to see leaks. I don't want to see anything. There's a lot of Battlefield leaks. I don't care. Execution is all that matters. That's it. Execution. PUBG is apparently working on an extraction mode. I don't care. Execution. Anyway, folks, that is all for this one. If you made it to the end with me, I greatly appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked the video, of course, drop a like. It helps a ton. It's totally free. Small and large creators, YouTube loves it. And if you want access to dope emojis like these. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. It should be glowing red right now. That's a really cool feature. You'll be able to use those in the live streams, which we do here on YouTube as well as on Twitch every Saturday starting at 1 p.m. Thank you guys so much again, and I will see you online.